Good morning. This is my container garden. I'm in zone 5B in West Michigan. It is June 19th. Now, the plan was not to have a container garden, but here we are because I'm going to grow where I'm planted. No pun intended, but also pun intended. So I'm just going to show you around my garden. Doing a lot of this for motivation for me and to survive the winter when I do not have my garden. So a lot of my seeds are from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company and M.I. Gardner Heirloom Seed Company. I've been really pleased with both of them, and if you have a question on which plant specifically came from where, I'll do my very best to let you know. Just leave a comment. But yeah, let's get going. So on the top I have purple shelling peas. I have green noodle beans and red noodle beans. So I know this is going to be a tangled mess, but I'm kind of excited for it. I love a good jungle vibe. I got this planter for Christmas. I believe it was off of Amazon for like $35. Been really pleased with it so far. It also has an option to hang it, but it's pretty heavy, so I don't know if I'll do that. Here I've got an Abe Lincoln Tomato, which you'll see a trend. I've got a lot of those. I've got a pink ox heart, which is nearly dead, but I think it's going to rally because this morning it looks a lot better than it did yesterday, believe it or not. So we'll see. I've got a mystery tomato, but I would guess it's an Abe Lincoln. It could be an early cascade because I do remember planting an early cascade without a label. So we'll see. Maybe it's a Paul Robeson. Who knows? We'll find out. Here is California Wonder Bell, I should say. The other one died, but I planted some watermelon radishes in its place just to utilize my space well. And I believe this one will come through. I had another one that I planted a few weeks ago that I'll show you, and it came through really well, and it looks really good. So I wish I had planted this one a little deeper, but you live and you learn. Here I've got an Ancho and a yellow wax pepper. Now, I know these will end up cross-pollinating, but I don't plan on saving seeds this season, at least for these two plants. And honestly, my peppers are all so close together, I'd need to use blossom bags anyways. So the yellow wax is super tiny, but it's looking all right. Their new growth is getting darker, and I think that is a good sign. Here, I believe I have a Corbaci sweet pepper, some more of those watermelon radishes, just to utilize my space. Got some teeny tiny chives, more watermelon radishes. Here, I just direct sowed a chocolate cherry sunflower. Super excited about those because I've never grown sunflowers. In this little container, I've got some Lilliput zinnias. I just sowed them, so we won't see those for a little while. But I'd like to give something for the pollinators and to have some just inherent beauty in the garden. So I also have this lime basil that still needs to be transplanted. I forgot the pot inside, and it's just kind of decomposing in this reused coffee mug, or cup. But reduce and reuse, I guess. Over here, these plants have been a little more established. So I've got some Scarlet Kale, probably too much for this container, but if I end up needing to thin them out, that's a-okay. I just think they're really pretty, and I've never had fresh kale before, so I'm super excited. Here's a big rainbow tomato, which I'm going to do a molasses dilution for my plants, because as you can see, there's a good deal of purpling here, which is often a sign of a phosphorus deficiency. And please excuse all of the cottonwood everywhere. We have a tree on our property that is shared with another person, and it is prolific in its pollen. Here is the only plant here that I have purchased. It's a spearmint plant, which smells like heaven, and it was about $3.50 at Family Farm and Home. So it's handling this pretty well. I definitely was going to container my mint either way because mint can be a hog. Here is my oregano, which also smells like heaven. My Genovese Basil, which is a little crazy, but I'm hoping to prune it in a way that it bushes out. And so far, so good. The new growth is really green and it smells amazing. So here are those California Wonder Bells that have been a little more established. They are much more green. They've got flowers already, and they are looking much healthier. Definitely some leaf curling still. I don't remember what kind of soil these ones are in. I think these ones are in yep, this is, I believe, compost. it might be just topsoil. I'm not sure. So they might need some fertilization, we'll see. My plants are in a mix of potting soil, compost, and topsoil, whatever I ended up purchasing. So some of them are definitely going to do better than others. Here is a blueberry tomato. Got this one from M.I. Gardner. So it's not the variety of Wild Boar Farms, but I believe it is supposed to be very similar. Again, some leaf curling, some purpling. Now, some of this purpling could be because blueberry tomatoes have a lot of anthocyanin in them. So, we'll see how that ends up working out. But, again, I gotta do that dilution of molasses. Here is, you guessed it, an Abe Lincoln Tomato. Like I said, I have a lot of these in my garden. I really like the name, and they're supposed to be really big red beefsteak tomatoes. So I'm hoping to get some really good tomato sandwiches. Here is another mystery tomato. Based on looking at it, I would say it's an Abe Lincoln or a Paul Robeson. But I'm not sure. That yellowing could be, purpling could be from a phosphorus deficiency, could be from anthocyanin. It was planted pretty recently, so it hasn't gotten super established and healthy like some of my other plants that you'll see that look a lot better. So here are my super puny jalapeno plants that I almost drowned because I forgot to put holes in the container, but they're seeming to do okay. As you can see, their pine chips are pretty soaked. So I'm giving those ones a break from water for now. Another one of my plants. The sun is coming here strong this morning, but this is a big rainbow. It is looking so good. There's a dark green foliage that smells amazing. It's in a pretty small pot. I don't know how well it'll end up doing, but we're still going to give it a shot. It's got lots of little flowers coming on, and this one has opened, so super excited about that. I've got this purple opal basil. Now this, 2 days ago, you would have thought it was dead. It was really close to being dead, but now it is dark purple and green. You touch it and it's just this amazing fragrant basil. Serrated edges, they don't hurt or anything, but I just think they look awesome. I am super excited to make a purple pesto out of this when I get enough. Over here I've got a Dr. Witchy's or White Cheese. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Been trying to prune these down to one main stem, especially because I'm doing a container garden. There's definitely some yellowing and spot on these leaves. I believe it's from splashback from before I got the pine chips in. So, trying to keep this one good and healthy. I think it's about to start flowering. I don't see any flowers quite yet, but it should be right on track with my other plants. Here is a black cherry tomato, which is one of the first heirlooms I ever had in my garden at my grandparents' house. It was just labeled as an heirloom tomato, which I thought was a variety at the time. But black cherry, this one is also flowering, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited to eat these. These are a dark purple cherry tomato, super umami flavor. Super excited. I love how dark green that foliage is. Over here, I've got another Abe Lincoln. So it's really hard to see in this lighting because the sun has come up really high. But this one, I think I just transplanted like 2 days ago, so it's not established at all. I've also got a Tulsi holy basil. Let's see if you can see it. There it is. It's hard to see on my camera, but I'm hoping that one gets really big because I have heard it smells like heaven. So now I'm going to take you around to my other part of my container garden. Now this whole area isn't in direct sunlight quite yet, so it might be a little easier to see some of these plants. Next time I will try and get this done earlier. Another Lilliput zinnia that I just planted from seed. German chamomile. So I'm hoping to harvest the flowers off of this to make an anti-anxiety tea. The leaves are really cool. I'd never grown this before, and they almost feel fake. It's really cool. They're like rubbery almost. I love it. I just direct sowed another chocolate cherry sunflower here. Here's a Dr. Witchy's tomato, which again, I forgot to put holes in one of the containers. Nearly drowned it, but it seems like it's coming back to life. So hoping that one turns out good. I've got a Paul Robeson here, or Robeson. Again, not sure how you pronounce everything. But this one's got some dark, healthy foliage. Some leaf curling. Again, I really need to do that fertilizer. These just got a really deep watering last night. And this pine mulch, which is just pine shavings from Tractor Supply, is really helping keep the soil moist. And it's a good cow manure compost mix. So I bought about 400 pounds of it at Home Depot for about $25. And that's what most of my plants are in. Here, I've got some Swiss chard, rainbow variety. I've got a Brandywine tomato, which I've never grown before. And I believe it's a potato leaf variety. I just think they're really cool looking. I've heard they're delicious. So I'm super excited to eat those. This area hopefully will be able to easier to see now. I've got some Oros Campollos, a Cuban seasoning pepper. I've got Corbaci sweets. This is the pepper I'm probably most excited for. I love a good sweet pepper. These ones are looking okay. You can definitely see there's some new healthy growth, but the old growth is definitely struggling. But again, I'm hoping they perk up now that they've been planted in some really good manure soil. Here is yellow wax peppers. So I've never grown these before either. I'm super excited about these. I think I'm going to pickle them because we have a shredded beef recipe that we love with pickled peppers. There's a tiny one. Here are Jubilee tomatoes. This is the first heirloom variety I ever grew from seed. I was given a little bag of Jubilee tomatoes from a family friend, and they were the first yellow tomato I'd ever eaten. They're like a yellowish orange. They're a globe variety. So they're not a huge slicer, but they're not saladette sized either. And I just fell in love. Like, I can hear the word Jubilee tomato and I can taste it. So I am super excited for these ones. They have a pretty big place in my heart. Here we have California Wonders, and like I said, these are looking rough, but those other ones were too. So trying not to bury these little ones in wood chips, but also keep their foliage as dry as possible. So yeah, we'll see over the weeks how these ones progress. Hopefully they get nice and bushy. Here we have some Jimmy Nardelie tomatoes, or not tomatoes, peppers. Again, super puny. I don't even know if this one will make it, but it's got some new growth that looks okay. It might just be a funky shaped pepper. We'll see what we get out of it. I might harvest more wisdom than fruit this year, but that's okay. Here's another Oros Campollo. This is a really good example of what the foliage looks like between what was grown inside and what has produced since being outside. It's just so much darker and richer, and this brings me a lot of hope that my plants are going to be okay, because this dark, rich foliage, pardon my garden nails, but this dark, rich foliage just looks really good, and it makes me really hopeful that these plants are going to pull through and give me some awesome peppers. Over here, we've got Ancho chilies, or Poblanos if you harvest them when they're green, which is what I plan on doing, to use them in breakfast scrambles and stuffing peppers. But if I have some red ones, I'll make some Ancho chili powder probably. The goal is to get a dehydrator. Some other puny California Wonderbells. I hope they pull through. Like you can see, there's a new leaf coming in there, so it's trying. Here we've got some teeny tiny Tabasco peppers. Hoping those take off and grow a ton of peppers that are way too spicy for me to eat. But I would love to make some hot sauce, ferment them and make some hot sauce. Or share them with friends who like spicy peppers. Over here we've got a mystery tomato. I'm guessing this is an early Cascade, because I remember planting an early Cascade without a label. And I think I put it next to the other early Cascade, which is what this is. So we'll see what these end up being. The early Cascade is a 75-day variety cherry tomato, I believe. Maybe it's an 85-day. I'm not sure. But as you can see, this one was planted pretty recently. It's got a lot of purpling. Needs that molasses dilution that I'm going to put on them tonight. Definitely going to need some TLC. But I believe this is also planted in that really rich manure set. If not the manure, then this really rich topsoil. So hoping that it works out. And then here I've got some Armenian yard-long cucumbers. that one doesn't look like it's gonna make it. I'm not sure. So I planted some cucamelons in there because they grow pretty well in a small amount of space. And so I'm hoping they all work out. If it ends up getting crowded, I'll pull some out, but I'd rather have something than nothing. And then I have some watermelon radishes I sowed down here, again, to utilize my space. And another Lilliput zinnia. So that is my garden the week of June 19th. So I'll try and make a video every week so we can see the growth. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.